special is, though. You know.
No, we're live,
that?
but we're not revealing the secrets until later on. You know,
Okay,
if you
good.
want that dessert, you got to hang around until later in the episode. But as
like
you can
surprise.
tell, we are
Surprise.
Cardboard Odysseys. We're hanging out. We're having some lively discussions. We're shooting around some interesting ideas behind the scenes. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you can get notified when some of those interesting aspects come out live. But I've talked enough. Bob, Matt, how are you great fellas doing tonight?
Wow.
I'm doing all right. Tired.
Me personally, I'm okay.
Yeah,
How am I doing with my fatherly / shepherdly duties over the Magic audience? Not so fine this week.
Finding it a little tougher to communicate with some of the hard-headed folks. Oh, Jewel Brain says he's banning you, Bob.
Uh-oh.
No, you can't do that.
Bob's been banned.
So you might want to hang out for this one, Dual Brain. I've got an interesting thing coming up here a little later. I think it's interesting, but there you go, folks. Take it in the interesting from the eyes of Bob, right? Hopefully it'll be an interesting thing for now and something for a while, actually. And you guys can sort of participate.
Definitely been a whole lot going on. And Matt, how you been holding up with all this tumultuous news in the last week or so?
I'm so still. What happened? My camera stopped working.
This is like,
he's frozen stiff by the news. I want to thank you, Matt, because I actually
very relaxed.
I actually used your numbers. Hopefully that's accurate from EDH Rec on the video that you put out this week on our channel. I went back and watched it, even though
it's as accurate as it can be.
And you said what? So it was. Do you have any of the statistics pulled up by chance? I know it's on the spot, or maybe go look at EDH Rec live and look at it. Maybe it's changed now.
Each one of the cards was less than 15%. I can tell you that.
I think you said 16% in eligible decks for Dockside in the video. I could be wrong, but still, it's close enough, right? And that Mana Crypt was in 11%, and Jewel Lotus was only in like 6 or 8% of decks.
Yeah, a very small amount, smaller than I thought.
So, and how did you happen to look, or can you possibly look now? What percentage of decks is Soul Ring in? And one of the things there's so many things I want to talk about tonight. Really,
I didn't because it should be in every deck. That is an interesting question, though. How many people are actually running Soul Ring? 85% of decks.
Okay, 85% versus if you add all the other percentages together, they don't even come close to that. And it's amazing that that caused a big enough problem. But to whom? That's like been my biggest question. Who was this causing a big problem?
A really good point is statistically, not a lot of people are actually playing Dockside, Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, and most people were shamed out of playing Nadu because number one, it took way too long. Number two, it never really paid off. So I think that the folks that are really hurt about this recent banning are the Timmies, the flipper investors. I wouldn't know anybody that was running.
I disagree with you, Pat.
Plus cards.
I disagree with you, and I actually kind of take exception for that for the people that are out there. I think that the people that really got hurt in this are the ones that went out and tried to bling out their decks, not the ones that pulled a Jewel Lotus. Like, you remember our epic battle on Cothern Cards over the Jewel Lotus pack? It doesn't sting so much for me financially, but it stings in that this feels like a bigger betrayal than M30. And I'll explain that right now. M30 didn't hurt anything financially unless you want to say that, people felt betrayed by it and left the hobby. But nobody got burned by it. No cards suddenly tanked in value. Dual lands didn't drop out of the sky. The Black Lotus is more expensive than ever. Time Walk, all the others, they weren't hurt by this. There was no card price that dropped because of M30. People didn't lose money unless they bought M30, which is only 2,000 boxes sold. And I guarantee you a number of those had bought all three that they could buy. This, according to Josh Lee Kwai's numbers that their whole team came up with, was around $150 million of potential lost money. So this
that's not true. His numbers are so off, by the way. His numbers
Okay.
are based on the factor of the cards going to $0 and not being worth anything. If you go look for,
Okay.
I can't explain this, but Jeweled Lotus is still $60. I actually can't. How it is
Well-
used? I found out it's used in one non-commander deck.
Yeah.
There is a deck that uses it for, I think it's Doubling Cube.
Doubling cube. Yeah.
Because Doubling Cube doesn't care about the mana being
Doesn't-
doubled
right.
of how the mana is. So if you double the mana that's in your mana pool, it can be used for whatever you want, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So like maybe that's why, or maybe people are like holding out, hoping that it'll be unbanned. But like it should not be
Well,
$60. It's wild.
I agree with you, and I think it's far too early to look at what the actual numbers of loss are. But it's $150 million of potential lost money.
Sure,
There was
potential.
no
I agree
potential
with
loss.
that.
Mhm.
There was no potential loss of money from M30, unless you bought the
Well,
product,
unless you bought it.
right? But there was so little of it sold. 2,000 boxes, man. That's nothing. That's 8,000 packs. That's nothing. That's not. There is so little M30 out there in the world. They released what 6 times more of it for free to LGS local LGSs. They just gave it away. How did that hurt anybody? So
Yeah.
at any rate, I think this is, people were outraged by it, but I never could really wrap my head around exactly what was it. Here's what people were outraged about with M30. How dare you offer $1,000 boxes with 4 packs in them? Well, we're pretty freaking close to that now, people, if you look at the price of collector boxes out there. So, yeah, they were just premature. Now, was it actually a bad product? Was it the product itself that was a problem? No, this is a real problem. This is people
Coach,
just
I love that.
absolutely getting
Vulgar display of power.
talk about vulgar. It's like getting it from behind with no reach around is what happened on this one. And it was done poorly. I think a lot of other content creators have done an excellent job, like the professor, if you watched his video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't often like watching his videos, but he put it very, very well.
I like the
think
stuff
he covered
it. I think he had a very measured response to it.
Yes.
For me personally, though,
I haven't seen it.
I am not at all hurt by these bannings. All 4 of them across the board. I do not have a problem because no play group I've ever been part of actively used any of these. And
I do.
Again, when it comes down to Commander in general, play how you want to. I mean, we even talk about combos in general. Like, hey, I've got some infinite combos. We need to talk about this. I think that Monocrypt has been around for so long that it's just kind of ridiculous at this point to go for a banning on it. Same thing with Dockside. It's been through a number of reprints. It's like a staple in higher powered Commander games.
I disagree with the Dockside statement. They've been talking about this being on the watch list to be banned for years. Like this is nothing new. To me, if they just banned Dockside, this would be like, oh, everybody be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They literally have been talking about banning this for like years. So like I would be like, oh yeah, 100%. Ban Dockside, ban Nadu. Jeweled Lotus is a complete mistake to me. I think it's an absolute. That's the only thing I disagree with is the Jeweled Lotus ban. I don't agree with it at all. Their argument for it is just silly.
I think that it's so underutilized that it wasn't worth banning.
Yeah, 7% of decks.
Yeah, and we've discussed so many times how niche the actual use case scenario for Jeweled Lotus is. I was going through my Rats deck, my Luris Rats deck, because hey, that's the one place I think it might be in one of the decks I've constructed. I didn't even put it in there because even 2 months ago, I thought it was too strong and it was misplaced if in that deck. And this is just another example of that. There has to be that common sense when you're making a deck. Like this is going to be too strong to be having a bit of fun. I mean,
I think there's so much to that, right? Like we almost have to put these into their own sort of quantities and own categories. I don't honestly think it was all that strong. I've put it in other decks before. It doesn't help greatly with multicolored commanders. The only commander that I put it in,
top deck. When your commander's already, it feels terrible to top deck when your commander's already out.
Late game, it's like
big
deal. It's just such. I can agree with
Monocrypt. I'm more wishy-washy on Monocrypt than I am with because there's Monocrypt is one of those things where It is in part of a lot of infinite combos. Some for like what's that big Kraken? Where you like play something, you bounce your mana rock and replay it as long as it's free.
Oh,
Then you have infinite
Okay,
mana.
Thraxidos or something? Thraximundar? Yeah. The
No,
Slumbering Isle.
no. It's
Oh.
it's got flash, right? It's
okay, but
the
then by that token, so like there are so many infinite combos, Matt, that you love to bring to tables anyways, that they're no stronger than that infinite combo.
now I gotta go remember
Also
what the
banning
build card is.
these two targeted, not banning because you tell me you couldn't do the same thing with what's Moxman's favorite card that Mox not Opal, the Mox Amber. That's a 0 casting cost mana rock. You could do the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So there are other mana rocks out there that could do the same thing.
Right, but that's not the whole point of the banning. The banning was to reduce the amount of availability of that kind of thing. That's the thing. So,
I think
they're not going to
garbage.
ban all of it. If they ban some of it, it reduces the explosiveness of the format, which I agree with.
Then how about not Jeweled Lotus and you ban Mana Crypt, the two biggest egregious culprits, Mana Crypt and Soul Ring.
Ancient Tomb would have been
Mana
better
Crypt
to me.
Right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't,
Jeweled
I don't
Lotus
like
makes
the
no
idea of
sense at
banning
all.
cards that have been in the format.
No banning Kaikar. That bird is fine. Like, just get off it, coach.
Like
No,
their explanation, and they even knew that there was bullshit going to be flagged, which is why they mentioned Soul Ring, and they didn't even give us an honest, straightforward answer, which makes it feel greasy.
I think
They
that
didn't
one of the
ban
big reasons
Soul
they
Ring.
didn't ban Soul Ring is that it's in like every freaking pre-con ever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't-
Because of the financial implications to WotC is why they probably said, oh, no, we're not going to allow you to ban Soul Ring. They couldn't even be straightforward and honest
Breaker
about it.
Horror. That's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Okay.
So do you guys think that now with this supposed shift in wizard influence on the Commander rules committee, that are we seeing a shift away from fast mana as they say they are trying to?
No.
But are we going to see power creep in a different way now then? Is it going to be slower, bigger stuff?
100%.
Let me ask you this. How many times have you seen decks go off, as you said, Pat, with infinite mana or big mana or even your big mana decks without Jewel Lotus or Mana Crypt?
Bro, I don't even need Soul Ring to break Edric on like turn 4.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's certainly like tribal stuff, and I'm never gonna say typal, that's fucking dumb. But like you can do the same thing with goblins. Like those are just a certain piece that stood out as, hey, this is a higher level of power. But you can definitely, as Matt can attest to, you could just be a better deck builder and not.
We've seen Matt go off infinite mana on turn 3 without Mana Crypt or Jewel Lotus.
Exactly. That's kind of my point.
Right, but it's not about can do, it's about the consistency of doing it.
Exactly.
Oh, get out of here. Just get out. No.
It's true. It's the biggest factor.
100%,
It's about how often it happens versus how they want it to be like, oh, you had like a crazy turn. Okay, let's go next. Like that's like much more than you're doing this every single turn.
I've never even seen you in all of your decks that go off with infinite mana. Never once seen you play Mana Crypt nor Jeweled Lotus.
I don't really ever play Mana Crypt, which is kind of funny. I don't.
Okay,
I
so in all of your decks that go off consistently, and yours do go off consistently, how many times have you won Jake and Joel's tournament?
Ed's got a great question here, Bob. Do you think that analogs to these cards are going to be coming down the pipeline?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the rumors I heard. Yeah, that there's going to be like semi watered down versions of these cards, and they would be really shit with the current versions being out there.
Which is another great way to sell products. So I'm behind that. Like,
I'm going to ask you guys to bear with me. I'm going to ask you to bear with me for a second, guys. This is going to be kind of a longer little stream of consciousness thought here, and I've been putting it together all week. In business, there's a concept of creating a need, right? And what WotC just did with allowing people to vent their anger at the rules committee is they just created a need, real or imagined, because there's other answers for mana already out there, right? Already, most of the people that wanted Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus because they've been around for so long, they've already purchased them. WotC's going to get what's called diminishing returns on printing more Mana Crypts and more Jeweled Lotuses. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There is a point where you reach market saturation. So by allowing them to ban them, they just got rid of that problem, and it created a vacuum.
I don't think they were at that point yet. But
Mana Crypt after 20 years, I guarantee you, they're
still
pretty,
over $100. Even after the ban, it's still over 100.
It doesn't
they
matter.
Had plenty of equity. They could have put Mana Crypt in the next 3 sets, and people would have been like, like I don't know, like
only for the idea that they're buying for investment. But I what I'm saying is by getting rid of them, they create a bigger vacuum that more people, the ones that already own Jeweled Lotuses and already own Mana Crypts, will now need to buy if they get replacement Mana Banks, Mana Beams.
Your Grim Monoliths, your
Mana Vault just went up like double.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which is great because I got one. I actually have a Mana Vault. It's crazy.
But see how happy you are about that? What about all the people that just dropped $700 to $1,000 on the fanciest Mana Crypts that now just took it right in the shorts? And let me tell you, the feel bads, just like Rudy said, and I'll attest to this, feel bads sting much greater than feel goods. Like those are not an equal high.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen like the video. The teacher goes up to the board, writes down 10 math problems, solves 9 of them correctly, puts one incorrect answer, gets ridiculed by all the kids. Like, you mess up once, people are going to remember that in more than a 9-to-1 ratio. And this is a huge black mark on them. Realistically, this is not a great look for their relationships with the Commander base.
And how many cards have a base version that are reprintable that were over $100? A handful, not very many at all.
Well, and I think that the ones that are just rarity from like older sets, Imperial Seal, dumb stuff like that.
And they just nuked 3 of them. 3 of the top 4 just got nuked.
Well, I think that this is definitely
people being angry about those. That's like, get out of here. Sorry, leave the hobby. If you're angry about a collectible card game having value, and you want to deprive people of that, and you're going to ridicule other players for investing in it, and then take delight and publicly express that to the people that just got stung, you're a terrible person. You're a terrible person, and you should look in the mirror. I hope that life treats you in kind for your sympathy for people that are literally struggling with this. I don't really care about the money. It's pittance. I don't even know how much I would have lost, and I don't care. But I do sympathize with those that are outraged, getting blindsided by this. And the doc side, you're right, Matt. If you didn't offload that and Nadu before the ban, shame on you, because they've been announcing it. But Mana Crypt, after being in the format since it was conceived, that is unacceptable.
I mean, like, personal opinion, right? Not financial advice, just how I look at my expenditure on Magic the Gathering is, soon as I buy it, it's wasted money. It literally counts for nothing. And when I open up the box, that's when I get to have the enjoyment. If I'm doing a draft, that's the fun. If I have any physical items left that I'm able to sling on sites to get a little bit of change in my pocket, yes, more than happy to be able to do so. But I never look at a deck and think, ooh, if my car breaks down, I can just get rid of those slivers and I'll be able to recoup my money. That's a very unhealthy way for me to look at my interaction with the game. So when I hear how much like people are up in arms about my collection's losing money, it's not that to me. That's not the way I interact with any of this. I mean, at least with a GPU, I can take that back to Micro Center and actually get money for it. It's a real thing. These are slips of paper inside of folders of plastic.
But your enjoyment of the hobby, you cannot overlay it on top of others. They need to be allowed to enjoy the hobby the way that they want to, and to have consistency. 25 years of Mana Crypt being in existence, to suddenly out of the blue, like a lightning bolt, say nope and nuke it. Look, if you take away the financial aspect, Matt just proved it. Look, I had a Manifold. I'm super happy about that. And what if they just said tomorrow, that also got banned in every format and it goes to 0? That you're taking the excitement and the enjoyment out of it. Even Matt, you always say no, but you're excited when you get the hits. And that's part of what makes this hobby different than Hero Realms. Hero Realms, it was an awesome cardboard game with cards that aren't worth shit. They're worth 10 cents a piece. Great, fantastic game. Nobody's cracking packs. Nobody's talking about it on YouTube. It doesn't have that same interaction. What makes Magic special is the concept that cards can have value. And they have for a very long time until the last 5 years. When the company has decided that they're going to meddle with things and they're going to decide what the financial value is for the players out there. That is a terrible way after 25 years of a game and saying, look at all these cards that have value, and then people open them. I literally have a friend, it's actually my brother's friend, who just started getting in the hobby recently in the last 3 to 6 months. He's starting to get deeper and deeper into it, and he was super excited that last Saturday, after buying and cracking a case, and he had Commander Masters collectors, and got his first Jeweled Lotus, his first big hit card after spending thousands of dollars.
And that's tough, especially if you're opening up OG Commander Legends, because Hullbreacher used to be one of those big hits too, and that nuked, a bunch of value out of those boxes. Absolutely. Now opening Commander Legends, what value is there in that outside of Jessica's Will, which has been also reprinted the heck out of?
Oh, there's still Vampiric Tutor, there's still Mana Drain, there's still a bunch of good cards in there, but that's not the point. It's advertised as a tradable, collectible card game. If you're just going to do everything in your power, anytime a card hits a financial threshold to do something to nuke that, you're definitely going to change the dynamic of the players that are purchasing your product. And they keep trying to push the price point up higher and higher. How are they going to justify that? I think this hit to consumer confidence, certainly for me, you guys know for a fact, everybody that's watched this show for any period of time knows I have been broken since Fireside Chat. I have not been buying products. I would not equate this to real estate. It's not the same in any fashion. There are many, many factors when it comes to real estate. And that's not the same thing as cardboard. A collectible card.
Every collectible thing has the chance of going up or down. You could collect bottle caps. You could collect rare soda, like their soda cans or whatever. Like there's a chance that anything can go up or down in any market. The biggest problem that people are having
D&D stamps for just that reason. Yeah.
The biggest problem that people are having right now is not that the thing can go up or down, is the fact that the thing that made it go down was a decision by a group of people. That's the reason.
No. First off, I'm going to argue with you there. I place this 100% on WotC, not the rules committee. WotC. It's WotC. I guarantee
there was a lot of pressure from Wizards. So
WotC's been working with them for a year. Jim from the rules committee said that they were in talks with WotC for over a year on this. It's their IP. If they wanted to, they could shut down the rules committee. I guarantee you they would get a judge to award them cease and desist because of financial implications from the rules committee on WotC. 100%. That would be a thing if WotC just decided that they're going to shut it down.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you, everybody, for the lively discussion in the comment section. We got a lot of people here tonight, and thank you, everybody, for showing up and for putting some of your thoughts in here. Coach saying here, it's not the monetary value that's upsetting. It's the principle of how they treat their fans in such a dirty way. And Dual Brain seems to go on and, have a very similar sentiment. They want money, even though it might not be in the best interest of their fans to spend that money. We've got a lot of really smart fellas. Super fast TCG dude, Coach, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you all here, and we can certainly get pretty lively, and I appreciate everybody staying civil. So good work on being a great community out there, guys.
Here's the difference between things like real estate going up and down and other collectibles going up and down. It's the very company that creates and shepherds this specific collectible that caused the value to drop. They are 100% responsible for their own product that they're trying to give to you that made it drop. If they drop because the overall financial market takes a hit, Fine. That is equatable to what people are referencing here in chat. It's not the same when the people that are providing the product, printing it, giving it to you, are the ones that pulled the rug out from underneath these people and made it lose value. It's entirely different. It's not like your home builder built your home, and if housing prices go down, it's not your home builder's fault. It's the market. It's the same thing with other collectibles. They go down because of other outside influences, not because the company itself decided to pull some shady shit and make it go down on its own.
Right.
But this isn't the first time they've banned something that made a card go down in value because it's no longer played.
You're right. You know what? I'm so crazy. Different? This is situation normal, like any other ban week. Right. This is nothing new, Matt. This is the same as every other ban.
It's not. It's the same.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't understand your point.
But they're not doing it to hurt people. They're not doing it maliciously. Like some guy was thinking, he was talking about, oh, they're like some evil guy. That, no. How can we nuke the value of the card?
The rules committee isn't trying to do it. WotC's doing it regardless, because whatever they're doing, whatever they've got planned, is because of whatever their future plans are. And my bet is they're going to push some other mana rocks to try to push future products, because now the next thing that comes out, like I said, they created the need, but they created it through a proxy. They created the need through the proxy of the rules committee to make them look like the good guys for making the new mana rocks and things to soothe that wound. Anyways, Dual Brain made a request. Speaking about money and investing in it, we had a poll. Pat, I don't know if you could bring that up. I have it sort of up, but I don't have it shared.
And I actually just put the same one. I just put that up in chat, was waiting for us to do the segue. So we've got a live poll in chat, and we put one up on our account earlier on our community channel there. I'm going to go ahead, do a quick share screen if I can make that happen. Present, share the screen. Chicka chow. Look at me go. It's almost like I've done this before. Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So one of the things that I talk about quite frequently is being financially responsible and asking folks what their spending habits are on an average monthly basis. We didn't say why, but we asked everybody to participate and give us as close as they can. And the other numbers, there were people that commented, and what we've roughly come up with here, based on the responses, and I think it's reasonable, is that if you ask people, because I don't know how you would get more accurate numbers, what the average Magic player spends in a given month on Magic, averaging it out, comes to about, overall, about $125 per person. There were some people that had 0, some people that did 20, some people that used to do 500 but did 20, some people that do 500 now. But averaging all these out, it comes roughly to around the $125 mark. So that's the number we're going to use. And I wanted to share the screen. So in preparation for this, being that $200 was the maximum cap, I opened up a brand new investment account as of today with Fidelity. And I am going to take $125 starting tonight. Unfortunately, I want to show you guys, but Matt and Pat said, nah, that's too risky. You don't want to risk.
He was like showing his like full on like Fidelity portfolio. We had like his retirement account information. I'm like, no.
And I am going to put every month $125 until further notice into a Fidelity investment account, simulating what an average Magic player spends on Magic. And I'm just going to put it in an index fund. You guys can look that up for those that aren't into what all that means. But I transferred $200, and I'm just going to put 125 of it in the investments. And I'm going to track this week over week. And I'm going to start showing charts to see what it would look like if people from today, so you can mark this on your calendar, we're going to keep posting it. I don't know, maybe weekly, maybe monthly. I don't want it to become boring. But I thought about weekly to show the ups and downs. And right now, if I put it in, it'll lose money, right? But I want to track it over time and show folks on the channel. Here is your, I don't know, we need to give them a name. Can we come up with a good name in chat for who this account is? I don't want to call it Timmy. That's too, it'd be the anti-Timmy. What would be the
it'd be your average monthly spender.
Okay, but I want a
And that would
name. That's not a name. I want a name for this guy.
Aldehyde. Give
or girl.
us an idea. What do we name this?
I want to see it in
for?
chat.
Yeah, come on, guys. Put them brains together. Let's figure out something here. Yeah, 125 a month, coach, seems to be
Yeah,
about
125.
average. And right now we've got a couple of votes online in the poll from the folks live tonight. We've got 4 votes, 2 coming in at $50, 1 at $100, and 1 at $1.50. So that's honestly on the lower side, but this is still trending towards that 125 average.
Johnny invest well.
Invest well.
All right, we got to mark that
monthly
down.
Monty. That's not too bad. The redemption fund.
Magic Whale.
At 125? No, this was the average. It's more like, average Alvin.
Yeah,
But,
I guess. I feel like
and
125
that's all
bucks
I'm
a
gonna
month
do.
is kind of a lot of
And
money.
it should be. Honestly, I think that people underreported in here. I think people were a little.
And that's the funny thing is, with the amount of anonymity that online polls carry, I do agree with you, Bob. I believe that people kind of undersold it. They might not want to address it. I know for me, I had to honestly, number one, abstain from it, but I don't really spend any money on Magic the Gathering. If anything,
I voted on it.
I spend more money on proxies than I do real Magic at this point.
So, anyways, let me know if you guys like this idea, and I'll try to keep track of it month over month, and I'll commit to, putting 125 in an investment account, so you guys don't have to, and you can keep spending on cracking those packs out there. But we'll see what the money would look like over time, and we'll see how people feel about that.
Bob. Yeah.
So it looks like I got a couple people that might want to join me in this investment idea journey with Dual Brain and potentially Coach out there. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, Dual Brain, but I that's why we wanted just an average number, and I don't know how to get super accurate, but I think 125 is a conservative, semi-accurate, semi-honest number, and it's a semi-reasonable to see what that's going to look like over time. What $125? What would it have done for you? We'll say in a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, when I retire, who knows?
And make sure if you are dead set on buying cards, go to TCG Player and check out our TCG Player affiliate link right in the description below. You can go ahead and contribute 3.5% of your purchase at no extra fee to the channel. So do what you're going to do anyways. Buy those cards, you silly guy, and send us a little bit of a kickback. We're going to help you out by investing that money.
In terms of spending without a replacement for the enjoyment and happiness, you're just going to be unhappy. Well, I'll tell you how. Let me tell you unhappy you're going to be if you don't have any money whatsoever, especially in retirement. That's an epidemic. The largest,
as much as growing I hate to admit it, I was watching Dave Ramsey the other day, and he makes a phenomenal point. If you're under 40 and you make over $50,000 a year, there's no reason you don't retire as a millionaire. And statistically speaking, he's absolutely right. You just got to be smarter with your money. I mean, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. That's the big thing. And if you're wasting it all cracking packs, you might be doing it wrong.
Yeah, but how boring is it just like holding money until like you're old and crockety and
okay, and you tell me how when you get old and crockety. See, that's what an immature adult says.
It was sarcasm.
It might be boring.
It did sound sarcastic. It did.
Boring sarcasm.
Like that commercial says, boring sent men to the moon. Boring makes vacations and retirement happen. Boring allows people to buy homes.
JFK said it right. We're going to send men to the moon and the other hard things, not because they're easy, but because they are difficult. And also, Coach, you got a great line here too. $1,500 a year is probably light for most collectors anyway. And even if we take a lens at it a little bit further back, outside of just Magic and TCGs, I know collectors of other things that spend way more than $2,000 to $5,000 a year, even on some of that stuff. I mean, there are some lunch boxes. There are some real freaks out there that will pay thousands of dollars for a lunch box. Like shoes, let's not even talk about sneakerheads. So
makes me feel better about spending like $100 a month on.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm over here rubbing my veins, like, yeah, this isn't a bad habit. Like,
No, I
Army of
love
Mez,
Army of
got
Mez
in. We sent
statement
in the
there.
rules committee to the moon. No. And,
No, the rules committee's
We act-
fine.
We actually had a member of the rules committee on this show here. If you all remember, for those that are old hat here for the channel,
geez, yeah,
we
was.
had
Gavin
Gavin
Dugan
Dugan on the
Yep.
show, and I don't know about you guys, I still love him. I think he's a great human being. And
Yeah.
I'll say this: as angry as I am, I agree 100% with all the other content creators, and I think this is legit. That stated, if you are sending death threats to anybody, like even including me, because I'm angry for the people who lost money, get out of here. Just leave the hobby. You're a terrible person. Stop it. Go away. Seek help. Go see a doctor. Turn yourself into the police. You know, that's an awful thing to do. That doesn't make you a better human being. If you lost money, like, to some extent, suck it up. We've been saying on this channel for years now. Go to our normal rant. You guys should be a little surprised. Like, isn't this inconsistent, Bob? Don't you normally tell people only buy cards that you don't mind being stuck with? I follow that philosophy, and I don't really care. You know what? I didn't even take. This is the only deck that has either Jeweled Lotus or Mana Crypt in it. It's my fiance's one with this guy Avacyn that's impossible to cast without them. And so I keep it in there. It's not like it's a battle cruiser deck, and all it does is allow the commander to come out once a game. And it's not like turn 3 or 4. It comes out usually by turn 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah, and it's mono white. It doesn't have like a ton of ramp.
It's terrible.
Again,
but
shout out to our comment section. I like what Aldehyde's got to say here, kind of mirroring you, Bob. I agree that spending your only disposable income on card games seems stupid, but there is little happiness that we do not create ourselves. And I love that sentiment. It's not about the cards, it's about the happiness of the enjoyment you can have if you like doing something. I love drafting with friends. So even though some of the festival in a box stuff seems like it was just getting rid of overstock, the mystery booster too, that we're going to get to have a fun time with, is absolutely priceless.
I can't wait to pull a Jeweled Lotus and mystery booster too.
Yeah, but it's still, even at that,
they don't have
$50 hit, which is crazy to me.
That's not anything to scoff at.
I don't think that's in there.
It is.
Jeweled Lotus is in MB2.
That's what somebody said. Somebody said they pulled the Jeweled Lotus and mystery boosters too.
No. They meant the festival in a box.
Maybe.
From the Commander Masters packs that are in there.
Yeah, they said. I swear they said it was mystery. But maybe they meant the festival in the box.
Well, Josh Lee Kwai was not on the rules committee.
He was on the
Commander Advisory Group.
Yeah,
which
he was
is
on the
still
Commander
very, swaying counsel in a lot of these situations. His voice was definitely heard. It was just not attended to. And I think that's one of the big reasons. He even talked about in one of their episodes in the last few days how the one time he'd ever said to Wizards, do not make this card, was a Jeweled freaking Lotus. Lo and behold, what do we see when it turns around? Again, don't make this card legal. Like, get rid of this. And then eventually, we don't know all the stories behind the scenes for sure, but there was such a distaste in his mouth. He wanted to just wash his hands of it.
Well, so and I think that's the right move. I wanted to make a video. I thought that I was less emotional about all this. I still am. And I understand, I'm not emotional for me, folks. Like, I think anybody that's watched us for a while knows I don't sell cards. So they don't ever, they all went to zero automatically. I'll give cards away, but I don't sell them. I'll give them to people, but I don't lose anything. My daughter, maybe, F's in chat for her losing value. But
I disagree. I think Jeweled Lotus is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with Jeweled Lotus. I think it shouldn't have been banned, and I think it should have been printed. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a completely dead card if you already cast your commander. It's only played in 7% of the deck, so it's not like it's actually OP.
I agree with you on that.
There's nothing. There's completely nothing wrong with it.
But by that same token, then Mana Crypt is also not a problem. It's only in 11% of decks. And getting a Mana Crypt on turn 8 or 9, not really all that helpful.
At that point, you're just getting an artifact trigger for 0.
Mana Crypt's a bit more of a different story because it's generic mana that can be used for anything.
Sure.
One, because
again,
it's generic mana that can be used for anything. Jeweled Lotus is specifically only for your commander, unless you play
okay,
double.
but then by that token, there's so many other
so
things
niche.
that are. It's same thing with Mana Crypt, and that's why it's only in 11% of decks.
Crypt is not niche. No, I think
It's
only
in
played in
11% of
11%
decks. That's pretty
because
niche.
it's $160. That's what I think, personally.
Mana
Lotus
Crypt
could also be the same thing.
Mana Crypt has been at like $30 for years and years and years.
What? No, the cheapest one is like $160.
No. Mana Crypt's been out since Commander was a format.
No, I know, but the cost wise,
and it's been in Commander since it was a format. And
right, but I'm saying that the price has been cost prohibitive,
for many
which is why it's probably in a low percentage
for the
decks.
vast majority of the lifespan of Commander. Mana Crypt has been in it, and it's been like a $30 card. Not a problem.
I don't think it's ever been $30.
Oh yes, it has.
What I want to say though is definitely that, like, I think Coaches has brought it up, and so has Dual Brain. It is extremely crazy to me how the cards that get banned are the packs that are in Festival in the Box. Can we talk about that? Like that's a conspiracy theory and whatnot. Like whether people WotC's trying to like offload the product that they have extra to put in the box. It's kind of crazy.
As soon as I pieced together, I said it in our chat. I'm like, oh my god! Now it totally makes sense why they put Mana Crypt in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It didn't belong in there. That made no sense. Said it on this channel multiple times. I was like, what? Why would you put it pushing a standard set? That makes no sense. You should put it in a premium product. That's what pushes it. And instead, they're like, oh,
yeah,
let's get it out there before we ban it.
Still fine because of that 3-turn wait. You know, that's what
Lotus Bloom is never going to be played like that
because of that. Yeah.
Thomas, what do you mean? Was what true? It's true that they okay. So here's the speculation. The speculation is that they're trying to offload the product. This is all speculation. None of it's confirmed. They're never going to confirm this. There'd be no. But what we can confirm is that the packs that they put into the Festival in the Box are the packs that had the two of the most pushed cards in the format. Jeweled Lotus and
Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt.
With the Lost Caverns of Ixalan having like the special versions of Mana Crypt. And some speculation is that they knew that this was going to happen because like WotC has to know what the RC council is going to do.
It's not speculation. Jim from the
Let
rules
me finish my sentence. Jesus. They have to know at least 6 months to a year in advance what's going to get banned. So the fact that they put those cards into those sets, they might have known that it was going to get banned. That's the speculation. The speculation is that the timing is a little off. Like it's possible that they knew that they definitely knew that they were going to put those packs in there, and then the ban came after they sold out. That's almost guaranteed. Because if Festival in the Box got announced with those packs in there after the cards got banned, I guarantee you it doesn't sell out. But now it's sold out. I don't know how. I don't know if it actually sold out, but it was low stock for 3 weeks, so I don't know how that works. But it's very
100% before WotC even put Mana Crypt in Ixalan, they knew the rules committee was going to ban this. Jim from the rules committee said that they were in talks with WotC over this for more than a year. And it wasn't part of the standard set. It was part of the special versions, right? So it feels like they jammed it on there on the tail end in a special slot that they didn't really have to account for to get rid of it, to milk the value before getting banned. Very dirty, all of this. And you didn't even mention one of the other products that's been out on the market for months, and they're about to put another one out. And that's the Costco-only version boxes with the March of Machines Commander decks that have packs of Commander Masters in them. So they've been getting rid of Commander Masters packs as fast as they can. What's that?
What are they, set boosters?
I don't know. Probably. Isn't that the only other thing? Or maybe they have, I don't know. Do they have draft?
Maybe. I think it's set boosters. But anyways, yeah, it's very it doesn't look great. Like I mean, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Obviously, it's all speculation, but the data lines up pretty damn well. It does not look great for. I mean, as a company, it makes sense. I mean, they got to offload product, but like it's pretty shitty for the players and for your player base.
Well, and here's the thing. They have to know. They can't be this dumb to run the company and not realize the optics of how it's going to look. Looking at if we all put this together, guaranteed somebody at their company had to go, wait a second, this is going to look bad before they do it.
Yeah, but the amount of money that they gain versus the
there you go.
The
And
flash
you hit
in
it on the head.
It's a bit of the flash in a pan. I bet you in 6 months' time we don't even talk about this, and it's not even who cares anymore. I actually do think that what's crazy about this is I was watching. I didn't think this would happen. I was waiting for a channel that I watch for competitive EDH. They're called Play to Win. And I thought they would hate this. I thought they would be like pissed off, and they all loved it. They didn't love that the people lost money. They didn't love any of the loss of value, but they loved the shakeup that removing these cards does to competitive EDH. They can't wait to because it's a format shakeup, and realistically in that situation, format shakeups are always fun because you remove some of the oppressive decks that are super powerful, and it allows other decks to kind of rise and be more and be good, and it's fun to play new things. So it's interesting. I didn't think that they would have that take, but yeah, it's
I think you could do that in other ways without harming the public.
Sure.
I think the way you could do that is, hey, how about you be a little more creative? I could just come up with some shit off the top of my head, like, hey, let's create a new competitive format like what they just first time I've heard it since this came out. TEDH.
Tournament Elder Dragon Highlander. Ooh,
okay, and they could do that with every format. They could do that for all these problem cards.
They said they don't want that. I mean, it's just 3 people on the internet. They don't want a specific ban list for tournaments. They play the way they play CDH, and this is obviously just like I said, just 3 people on the internet. But the way they want to play CDH is just normal commander, ban list, and then they try to make it the competitive version of that. It's kind of like standard. If you had like standard and then like standard tournament standard, where like the ban lists are different. They don't want 10 different ban lists. They just want one ban list for the whole format, no matter what. Yeah. But there are different ban lists for Archon. I think there's something called Archon, which is another. I think it's commander based. I think what is it? Magic.
Like giant and stuff like that too. And I mean, same thing with like Arch Enemy and all that different stuff. Yeah.
What's the newest one where they have the companion spell? Well, Canadian Highlander has a different ban list.
Yeah,
the
Canadian
one that has the spell.
They don't have a ban list. I don't think they have a ban list. They have a salt score or something like that, where like each card is worth like a value,
which is a different ban list because they don't have one. And then you have one with the one that has the spell. What's that called? Just came out like last year. We have a spell.
Durban.
Whatever it is.
With a D, doesn't it?
But there are different.
It's that blue card.
Even we have a different ban list than standard commander.
Yeah, well, so that was something that I wanted to talk about was, behind the scenes, a lot of guys, y'all might not know this, but we are still quite active in discussions about commander raids and how certain cards that come up in sets, even though we don't make it terribly public, we're still batting around ideas and talking about different things. And with this very shocking ban announcement, we were thinking about how does this affect commander raids? Is it worth starting a separate ban pool for commander raids? And we'd talked about this from the very inception of the format. There are some cards, Collective Voyage, for example, that's pretty dang overpowered, especially if everybody's working together. If you're all throwing down on something like that, a couple of other cards as well. I mean, Nadu, we could certainly all play Nadu and just play on extreme mode. I think that it might not be worth it. Again, like Thomas Money is saying, rule 0. We all have a sit-down conversation about what we're trying to get out of our decks. Do I just want to see Kaikar do its thing? Is Matt playtesting a new deck? Is Bob trying to work out the kinks of his hug deck so it can work more efficiently in larger pools? that kind of talk before the game really sets up for a more fun time. It's so much more engaging because we're able to help cater to each other's wants during the game. You know, it's not just about I gotta win. But again, CEDH, if everybody knows that's what they want to play, the most extreme to the rules, as competitive and hardcore as it can be, y'all know up front, hey, we're going to see, you know, Jeweled Lotus into another badass card. You're playing Dockside, flickering it a bunch of times. You're going all out. And I can appreciate that as long as I'm aware of it. So for Commander raids, I personally don't think we need much of a ban list. I just want to have the talk that if you're going to play Nadu, are you going to win or are you just going to do your turn for 20 minutes? Because that's boring as shit.
Well, and you know, like in Commander raids, Dockside Extortionist, not really that explosive.
He's garbage.
Yeah,
he can
right.
be unbanned in Commander
horrible.
raids. He's so bad.
It's almost it's so bad in
laughable.
Commander raids that I wouldn't even play it in a red deck. Literally,
No, I wouldn't either. The raid monster does make artifacts technically.
Sometimes. How many
it's
games?
It's
how many
unrealistic.
times have we gone games where they didn't produce any freaking tokens?
Yeah, it will. Even then, it's so neutered when it's only the
one
raid monster that is going to have possibly artifact enchantments. So it's like, at best, it's 1/3 as powerful as it should be. I mean, everybody can just play Jewel Lotus. I don't give a shit. Like,
I want to say that Rule Zero does not solve everything. Rule Zero is not the catch-all. It's not the savior that everybody wants it to be.
No, I had somebody with a Mind
Rule
Slaver
Zero.
deck tell me it was a 7.
How many times have you had the Rule Zero talk, and then your game has been tarnished, in some way that Rule Zero could have quote unquote fixed? I bet you there's tons of people that are like, okay, Rule Zero, what's your power level? They say their power level of the deck, and they're wrong. They're wrong about their power level because they don't know how to assess their own deck. Rule Zero depends on everybody understanding the same thing, everybody having the broad understanding. And you know what Rule Zero doesn't solve, and ban lists do? Ban list is a hard no. You cannot play that card. Rule Zero is, you have to trust on everybody's opinion and trust on everybody's power level.
Hold on, you know what Rule Zero says? You know what Rule Zero also says? No hard no from ban list. We're going to play it anyways because Rule Zero.
Yeah, exactly. You could also just Rule Zero that there's the ban list doesn't matter.
But the bigger problem here is that the financial impact. Let's just be real. It's just like with M30. The real problem with M30 had nothing to do with the cards. It had everything to do with the price.
Yeah, sure. $1,000 for people to buy in.
If these cards were $10, we wouldn't even be talking. Who could, we would bring it up, but nobody would actually give a shit.
Additionally, if they had rolled this out differently, if they had banned Nadu this time, it's close enough to just coming out, fine. And then
ban Nadu Dockside, and then ban.
Well, you don't even have to do them both at the same time. Just ban Nadu this time, ban Dockside next time, ban Jewel Lotus the next time, ban Mana Crypt the next time. If they had rolled this out rather than just like this massive hit all at once, I think you would have also had far less outrage.
I'm confused why they waited so long to do anything, because if you look, their last Commander ban was like years ago.
Right. That's the thing for me.
Yeah, why?
Most of it doesn't make sense for a number of different reasons. Nadu is the most sensible thing out of this whole ban list. I think that it's weird that it didn't happen the exact same time as the modern bans that they did right after it was wrecking all of those constructed play events. Whatever. I'm glad to see that it's now off of the table, air quotes, right?
And I know that you guys don't follow this, but Nadu was coming up as one of the highest win percent of any CDH tournaments the moment it came out. It was wrecking tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that the second I read that card, it was like, wait, it can trigger on each creature 2 times. I was like, this is broken. This is dumb. Skewt Swarm was so. Anyways,
Dockside they did give a heads up, right? It's been on the watch list forever.
Yeah, there was a lot of people talking about one of their arguments where they didn't want to give people a heads up so that people could like play the market. Actually, Dockside is a good example. They've said that Dockside has been on the watch list for years, and it's still. It was over $100. It was almost $200 for the foil S version. Over $100 for the normal version.
Here's the problem I have with a lot of this: is many things that they said.
Subscribe.
many things that they said are logically inconsistent. They're just not consistent with what they're saying, what they're doing, including Soul Ring, including Dockside, including saying that we don't want to give you a heads up when they give us a heads up, when they say that they're not going to unban, but they unban things from time to time. The last one I think was Worldfire. Was that the one that got unbanned?
Yeah, Worldfire.
Yeah. A lot of things that they're saying are logically just inconsistent, which makes you lose faith in trusting what they're saying.
They're gaslighting the shit out of people, Bob. 100%. Like, what they're doing makes complete sense. You sell a bunch of the shit as much as you can, and then you ban the card after you've made as much money as you can, and you blame somebody else.
But the RC makes no money on that.
No,
he's not talking about the RC. He's talking about WotC.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast sells the product, and then they force somebody else to do the banning in the most popular format that they don't have.
Like, that's a perfect scenario.
Yeah, like
it's a perfect scenario for them.
Sense. And I know it sounds really cynical,
is it
but
Dan?
No. Oh, God damn it! Now I'm gonna look up the different Commander formats. It's you'll know it as soon as you heard it. It's like,
yeah, it's called Dan MTG. It's a blue card, right? Unless you're talking about
no. I'm talking. No, it's a whole different Commander format where you have a spell as a commander instead of.
I was like, I think there's a format called Dan that uses that card. But anyways, but yeah, I have heard about the
your commander.
We could have like
we got about 30 minutes left in the stream here. And I think one of the things that's probably healthier than opening Magic the Gathering
Oathbreaker.
God, that's just one of my favorite paladins, but also, God, yeah, Matt, I still haven't done a review, but hold on, bear with me. Okay, I'm gonna make my screen big. Go for it. Shazam! Oh, you can't see shit.
Holy shit! It's nothing. There it goes. I almost bought that.
Yeah.
I normally don't have physical copies of books, but that looks like it's a good looking book in person. You can't see it because it's
great
green screened, but it looks really good in person.
Yeah, dog, it is phenomenal. And I traded in a couple of cards because, again, I don't care about owning Magic the Gathering cards, but Brad down at the Book Garden in Montpelier, Vermont, phenomenal little store. He's actually nicer than I give him credit for. Traded in some cards, and I picked up the Fancy Collector Edition there. Really pleased with it. Phenomenal artwork, as always. Wizards of the Coast did not, spare any expenses.
So Butter Toasties has a really solid question. What is Commander Raids? Holy fuck! Let me click it, buddy.
Same thing.
So, Commander Raids is a player verse. It's mostly referred to as a player verse environment or player verse monster PVM PVE. Where it's a cooperative game where it's a commander game. You use your commander deck, and you're going against a raid boss. The raid boss, you can choose your difficulty, and based on those difficulties that you choose, it has a certain number of hit points per player. And then you, whenever it takes its turn, you roll a die, and it assigns it like a card that it casts, basically. And it's a way to kind of team up with your friends instead of friends or family or whatever. Instead of like just pub stomping your friends, you can pub stomp the raid monster. It's a good way to play test decks. It's a good way to introduce somebody into Magic where you don't want to pub stomp them, but you want to teach them the game. You can bring them into Commander Raids, and it semi emulates a player in a way, but it's more of just like a raid boss. It's just to test some decks out and pub stomp a big monster.
Yeah, it's cooperative is basically the way you can look at it. Rather than competitive against each other, it's cooperative with each other.
Yeah, multiplayer PvE. P's VE. God, we gotta tack something down for it. That's
Well, PvE is correct, but some people don't know that terminology, so that's why I explained it.
No, you did a great job explaining it, and hopefully that answers your question. What it is. We have the Discord link. Do we have that in the channel? The Discord link. You can find the rule set there.
Yeah,
I just posted the Google Doc of it.
Oh, cool, perfect.
I enjoy it.
It's the only way I play Magic anymore.
Oh, I love the normal Commander aspect of games, but it is fun to team up every now and then and have like an alternative way to play. Kind of like it's a similar format. Change up is kind of like Arch Nemesis or all right later, Bob. His internet's been messed up. It looks like he probably dropped out.
He probably
that.
tried to open Discord and he just had to.
Oh, that's true. He might have clicked on something wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe he tried to go open the Google Doc.
He hit the power button. You know, what can I say? He's an older gentleman.
Right, commands, custom. Oh, I do have a Discord. Is it the same link?
As I was trying to segue into, Matt, thought I was doing great about it. Instead of opening packs of Magic the Gathering, you could open packs of Tetramon in the new trading card game shop simulator. I got to say, I've been playing a bunch of it. Have you been seeing this on the internet, Matt?
I watched your video yesterday. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. What did you
I
think
don't like how fast you flip through pack openings because you don't even you're not even looking at what you're opening. You're just kind of like click.
Yeah, I'm going 100%.
Kind of like that's like I don't know. That's worse. Like you're not even like paying attention. You're just watching. You're looking at the dollar amount. That's like opening a pack of cards in real life, but like not even reading a single card and just having like a little number pop up with +10 or -20.
Yeah.
That's not pack opening to me. Like I actually do look at what I will open. But I mean, I get it. In the game, it's different because, like, all you care about is the number going up and then using that money to invest into your store. I think the game's a little unrealistic that, like, it assumes that you're opening the store with no money and you have to, like, buy a table. Like, it assumes that you have nothing, which is just strange to me.
Yeah. It honestly, it is very odd the way it just starts you off.
It's just an empty building. I'm like, that's not how you open a store at all.
Hey, at least with Stardew Valley, it's like, hey, your grandpa's dead. Here's an abandoned farmstead. Like that totally tracks. Minecraft, you just kind of start in the wilderness. Terraria, you and some random dude wandering around. Whereas like the start of Trading Card Shop Simulator, it does not make sense, and some of the prices are ridiculous as well. Who's gonna buy like 5 of the same plushie for $50? Get out of here. That's ridiculous.
I like that you can set your own prices. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the game looks interesting, but I think that I would be bored of it within like maybe a day. I don't know how. I guess it depends. It looks entertaining, but maybe it's more entertaining to play than it is to watch.
Yeah, I'd say so. Realistically, it's a lot more of the same up until you're done with it. It's a very straightforward kind of game mechanic. As far as like the pack opening side of it, you could just not even do that and make go through the whole game.
You gotta sell singles,
simulator game. Well, you don't even. Like, you legitimately don't have to do that. You could not even have play tables and just sell goods the whole time. There's a couple of different ways to go at it, which is kind of the interesting part of it to me. As far as like the opening pack stuff, my whole point in that is just literally rip through the packs as fast as you can, and then just post up the expensive cards. Oh, and Butter Toasties has slid into the Discord server. Thank you for joining the fun.
Welcome. Another game that I was Pat and I were playing on the channel, Satisfactory.
No, he's moving.
I don't know. Am I still frozen?
No, you're good, Bob.
Sorry, folks. My connection is just hot garbage tonight, apparently.
Yeah, usually it's me.
I
tried to reset it. Don't know.
It seems like you're back, so
hope so.
We were just talking about the card shop simulator that Pat's been playing.
Yeah,
it looks interesting.
I'm just trying to dig up the post. I have it right here. As a matter of fact, see if I can share this. Surely, to what I was talking about, and this is what makes all of this just so disgusting to me. I do want to get to one of the questions since we're starting to wind down on this portion of our stream tonight about Duskborn and what do we think so far. I think we've already given some pretty good takes on our take on Duskborn. It's not like it's new or fresh at this point. I don't know if you can read that. Like, it's pretty big.
So
I think Windows might have been.
Says, I promise you that Bands in Commander have a longer discussion and debate period than the 3 weeks it's been since the CEDH-RC situation at the end of August. We've been talking about these bands with each other, with Wizards, so they can do their own communications and align with MTGO for a little over a year now. The timing is unfortunate, but if you're reading anti-CEDH intent here, you're reading something that's not there.
Okay, so again, that's straight from a rules committee member. I think he leads the rules committee, saying that WotC's been aware of this for more than a year. Think about the implications of that, folks. Like I said, I'm not mad at the rules committee. Their intent is, even if I disagree with it, their intent is to make the game as healthy as it can be. And I empathize with them that, what do? They can't take into account the financial cost. Now, what they do need to do is try to roll it out better, that it's less negative to large parts of the Magic community out there.
I wonder if
there are better ways they could have rolled this out.
I wonder if Mana Crypt. Well, I'm gonna flip the script a little bit. I wonder if Mana Crypt was always intended to be in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and the reason why there was no bannings for a few years, and these are the bans they wanted to make. I wonder if WotC was like, you need to push their ban back a year because we've got Mana Crypt coming out in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and we can't have you ban that while we pull out this set.
It's still dirty,
put out this
right?
set.
And that's why
it's definitely
the rules committee. I'm mad at it. It's WotC. Additionally,
but I will say, of all the cards, Mana Crypt it's taken the least hit. Because it's still used in other formats. Okay. It's used in
I think it's too early to see what the impact's really going to be. This is just knee-jerk so far. We need to see where things are around Christmas time. That'll give us a much better idea of what the real impact is to these cards.
What do you think, Nadu? Under $1?
They said they didn't consult Josh Lee Kwai, and why they're so upset over the CAG is that they didn't consult with them on this. Normally they do. This one they said they wanted to keep it as tight-lipped as possible and let as few people as possible know about it prior to the banning. That is dirty pool, folks. Oh, hey, look, our recent highest dollar sets that we're releasing, by the way, as soon as we sell all out of it or get rid of the largest majority of it, we're going to shut that shit down. Now you can ban it. That is dirty. Sorry.
I think that unless there's other contributing factors, I think him quitting the rules or the what is it called, the
CAG.
Yeah, the CAG. I think unless there's more than one occasion that this has happened, I think that him quitting is a bit knee jerky. I think he's trying to be like the white knight, the hero that the people want. He's trying to separate himself from it, which is kind of strange. But like, if it's been like multiple times where like he's put his input in and it's never been listened to, then I can understand. But like, it feels like a little.
I'm going to disagree with you. He's been getting death threats, right? And if I was part of some shit that doesn't pay me, and getting death threats and possibly, I believe he has a family, and has implications for my family over a freebie thing, which is the Commander Advisory Group. Get out of here. I'm not risking my family. I don't care what kind of game it is. If it started happening here on this show, color me gone. It does. No, sorry, it's not worth risking my family. All you need is some nut job. I mean, look at that Trump guy, right? The latest wackadoo that was that the Ukrainian army turned them down when right now they need as many cannon fodder as they can get. They're like, nah, you're a little too nutty. So again, all it takes is one, and we've all been, most of you, if you've been to like a larger Magic Con, there are some rather odd folks in the community. Wouldn't doubt that there's a Mr. Deeds dude out there writing names on a list with lipstick out there to cross through.
Did you hear about the Jake and Joel? Did you watch the Jake and Joel video about their second video about the discussion or about the ban list? Where
No.
they talked about they were told about a month and a half ago that
Yeah.
somebody came into their chat and was like, Mana Crypt's gonna get banned, and they were like,
Yeah.
"What do you? No, you
My
get
bad,
outta
Mark.
here."
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
come on, get your
I'm not-
Adam
I'm not-
Sandler movies right. Come on.
Yeah, my bad, guys. Ban me. But Dual Brain wants to. No, I was on their streams, and
I think that's
I've actually
honestly, like, for me, if at that point they are considered public figures, like they're well known. I just assume anybody that famous is getting like hate mail and death threats reasonably consistently. I think that this is just a standout experience for a lot of people, and they've gotten so the people in the creator atmosphere and anybody on the rules committee, I think they're
heard
getting
about
a lot
that.
of
Happy Gilmore too. I did hear about that.
unnecessary flack. It's completely unfounded. Nobody should ever act like that online. But unfortunately, as Benson's experience, that's shit that does happen. Like, there is no reason for it other than unhinged animosity on the internet. Like, people aren't mentally healthy, and online is the biggest way that you ever experience it. It's like, yeah.
I'm surprised my videos have been as, I shouldn't say positive. None of them have been positive. I'm surprised they haven't had worse comments on it, to be honest.
Bro, especially like those proxy videos. I've got thousands of views on them, and it's like our favorite and shared hobby. This is how not to pay for it. But people absolutely love that. Like, yeah, like.
So I think maybe we could lean into that into the last waning moments here, because I honestly don't want to talk about the bans again after this. It's just a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm not. Unless there's like more that come to light of it, I'm over it.
But I'm gonna double down on my position though that I've been holding for a very long time. I already mentioned it here in the show, and I think this is the poster child for exactly what we've been saying for years on this channel, folks. Unfortunately, with the way the current, I'm sorry.
Hey, don't buy stuff you don't want. Yeah,
right. Don't. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not selling my Jeweled Lotuses, not even taking them out of the decks. Y'all can just deal with it if you're going to play with me. I don't care. And I don't care what the financial value is for the cards. I'm not selling them. Everything's going to my daughter. So I'm in a luxurious spot that, yeah, I buy stuff literally. Like, I don't care that I just bought $800 worth of product specifically for the Mystery Booster 2 that I want to have on hand to draft some of it when Pat's here. And I want to have more, because we don't know what's going to happen with that product. We'll go there in the future. But, sticking by that, had you taken that approach, you're probably not going to be in a position where you're pissed off right now, where as soon as I bought it, I thought it probably was going to go to zero. And that's unfortunate. I think if you want a super bling version of a card in a casual format that doesn't have, I don't know why they call it tournament EDH, because there's no sanctioned tournaments for EDH, period. Proxy your cards. And Pat's been pushing this. And we all have. I think that's the one thing that the three of us consistently 100% agree on. Y'all should be proxying your shit out there, especially the expensive shit.
Yeah, I proxy
like
I proxy like 90% of my decks.
All three of us agree heavily on that. I don't think you'll find three more different people involved with the Magic hobby than what you have on the screen here. Up at the top, you have our truest tryhard that is all about mechanics, purely mechanics, all game only, all the time. Matt, you got me. I'm more of the OG, old school, love cards. They should have value as a collectible kind of person, even though I don't care if they go to zero. But I'm a collector, right? And I've been collecting it for 30 years. I'm not going to change now. I don't care what the financial value is, and I have the ability not to give
Pat, who doesn't even believe numbers are fucking real. So, like, I've had a lot of discussion about this, Matt. Numbers aren't real, and time is made up. So this whole like interest over time thing, like expenditure over time, like it's BS. So another discussion for another night. But I love Benson's comment here. Jeweled Lotus Monocrypt is a kill me sign at the game table. You can play it, but the 4 other players are going to street justice your ass. I think that is,
I mean,
honestly, like if you play Dockside, everybody's going to look at you and groan and think, oh, there's a new problem here. If
I
you
agree with Dockside.
Loaded, like Jeweled Lotus turn 1 after your Soul Ring, it's like we know who to aim for.
Jeweled Lotus is fine. I don't see a problem with it. I don't ever target anybody that has a Jeweled
Lotus.
Left
it. I would have been fine if they never made the card. But I think Dockside certainly is a problem. Nadu, we all saw that shit coming. But Monocrypt, that's the weirdest thing to me. Like, as one of the guys said in the comment section here earlier, it's like one of the foundations of Elder Dragon Highlander. Like, it doesn't make sense to ban it. I think we've all been fine with it for the last 30 freaking years. Like, what you doing?
You know what's funny about Jeweled Lotus? As much as I talk about it being like a great card and how I am okay with it and all that stuff, I built a deck recently that I actually really enjoy playing. I'd like to be able to play it more. But there's this card here.
No, there's not.
There's a card here, Ayara. Look at that, 3 triple black. So Jeweled Lotus would be fantastic for this. I don't play it. I actually can't explain why. I should be playing it. Getting this out on turn 1 is great. Well, kind of. It requires you to sacrifice creatures, but it has a taxing effect on it. But it's weird.
But by the same token, you could just put in Dark Ritual.
I do. That's what I play instead because it's more universally usable for stuff.
And Culling the Weak.
Yep, Culling the Weak. Yep.
There's
just other ways that you can do that.
Yeah, but it's just funny to me how like I didn't even think about playing it. It's just weird.
Right.
But here's the thing. Like I said at the beginning of the show, who's really being affected by these 4 cards? Nadu, if you show up with your commander as Nadu on the table, you're probably dead before Nadu hits the table. Or shortly thereafter.
You've probably already won.
Whatever. There are many gnarly commanders like Chulane. As soon as I show up, before I ever get him to hit the table, I'm dead. And even I'm like, hey guys, it's a hug deck. I literally, when I was in Jake and Joel's thing, they just on the what do they call that? The appreciation day.
The league.
Oh, I'm like, I'm a hug deck, people. I'm the least threat at the table. And people are like, oh no, it's Chulane. There are plenty Turgid. There are plenty of salty ass commanders out there that are just disgusting.
Yeah.
And in Bonder Prodigy, like
Toxrill, that slug.
Toxrill is salty. I've never had a friend get so salty, but Nate hates Toxrill. He can't stand that fucking card. That and Archon of Cruelty. Those 2 cards, I've never seen him like rage really that often, but like that card, man, he don't like Toxrill.
That's an interesting point. I don't know if I've ever loved a game as much as I do in the Magic holds a very special place in my heart over all these years. But I don't think I've hated a game as much as Magic that I actively spend time on. I don't know if there's something I get so mad at playing with friends. Like I can go bowling, great time. Does not matter if I lose. I don't care about the numbers. We can go get on Minecraft. Cool. I'm the chimp. Send me out into the forest. I'll find the bananas. But when it comes to Magic the Gathering, I get so freaking mad easily in that game.
How about Animar, Kalia? I mean, we could just go down the list of
Kalia the Vast was like one of the biggest shake 'em ups. I realized that people didn't play the same way I did. Wait, you just get to put those on the battlefield attacking me? But why me?
Atraxa.
That's what the card said.
How about what's your is it Animar that you use in your Cascade deck?
Yeah.
Animar Cascade.
He's not even the one that's like most people play Cascade with, but he's so fucking good.
I'm just saying there are plenty of salty ass commanders out there that are just as salty kill on sight as Nadu.
Yeah. Dude, Morophon Slivers. I get why people hate that shit. It is good, it's grody, it's gross. But I mean, again, it's about having the conversation with the people you're sitting down with, about having a healthy pod, a healthy play style. I want to tell people, hey, I'm playing Slivers today. I want to have a stronger deck. This has got a bunch of them 5 colors in there. It's Morophon. We're going to see some action. So let's go for it. If I'm playing Kaikar, I explain what the deck's doing, how it's going to interact maybe with other people. I want to let folks know that we're going to have a time, whatever it is. And I want to make sure that I'm balancing it. So that's why I have a couple of different decks. I mean...
So all I'm saying is with Nadu, It was the most I don't give a shit ban in this list.
Benson, I'm doing it because I don't like the camera angle. So like if I remove it, nothing's changed. It's the same. But like see how it's like facing down and you can like see the floor versus like this, you can actually see like the majority of all the magic cards and the stuff on the shelves and stuff. It's just a better camera angle. I can't really get that camera angle easily without covering my monitors with the camera.
What's funny is this is not a green screen. This is actually where I am. Yeah,
that's just Pat's backyard. It's crazy.
It's fall in Vermont. This is actually where I live.
It's Pat in Wellville there. That's an oil painting. He's living in an oil painting.
Realistically, though, this is kind of what it looks like outside of my house. Like I live in a beautiful place. I recently went to Atlanta and I realized how much nicer it is in Vermont.
So I mean, do we need to go? Do we really need to cover Duskmorn anymore? I think it's almost already since it's release weekend. I didn't go to a thing.
What I still don't.
I did.
Why
I went to not release. I went to
Halloween.
pre-release.
Like, if they just dragged their feet for like one more fucking month, this all would have made more sense to me. I don't get it.
Well, they did drag their feet. We don't get our TV boxes for another month.
True.
Oh yeah, right.
Which, by the way, did you see that even Amazon's price went up?
No,
oh, finally.
I haven't paid attention.
I just looked at it. There are no leaf peppers in that background. I saw it at 89 on Amazon when I looked at it earlier this week. I think we got them. What, 79 is what we bought them at?
Yeah, I got them for 79.
I mean, I'm still just not going to interact with it. I think realistically, I'm just having so much more fun.
Yeah, they're
playing,
$89.99 now.
Video games and stuff.
What are they on?
Johnny Bravo with you. Good on you, man. But you know, you do you.
Oh, fuck you. You better buy one now, motherfucker. I'm being the opposite of acceptable of him not buying Magic products.
Yeah, right. He's going all out on it. Speaking of going all out, we have a members only stream. We do. It actually starts in like 2 minutes. For 99 cents a month, we do a lot of videos early and some videos for members only, including at least a half hour every single week. So if you're interested in that, just hit the join button down below and then click on the link for tonight's video.
True.
Actually, it's a live stream, but it's members only. It is.
I'm gonna make sure to link that live stream. I'll link it right now.
Yeah.
Last week we just kind of paced out and didn't link it.
Just do that in the background. There was one week I was like a half hour late for a half. You know, we go sometimes very long in those.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this has been great, guys. Anything else before we close out?
No, just keep tuning in for our experiment that we're starting tonight. I wish I would have shown something a little bit more visual. We'll try to work on it this week to where I don't want to say doxing myself. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but exposing my account numbers online. Probably not the best idea.
You shouldn't expose
but we want to show
online.
the result. What's that?
You shouldn't expose yourself online unless you get paid for it, I guess. It's not on YouTube.
OnlyFans, baby.
Yeah,
I
think those
Bob's
people would pay $20.
That's OnlyFans. I'm sorry, Bob's OnlyFan, where he talks about finance.
Yeah,
it's the sexiest talk Bob's got.
Shirtless, baby. But no, like I said, keep tuning in for that if you're interested to see how your shadow money would do in the real stock market versus spending it on Magic cards.
This just in, you'll probably expect to gain anywhere between 5 and 20%.
You're right.
Compounded.
It's fairly consistent. The stock market's fairly consistent. Like, it's unlike Magic, you can't just get banned.
Yeah, right. Well, hey.
Although the stock market does go up and down, so it's not like
that's true.
I'm talking like over long periods of time.
Well, hey, until next week, this has been incredible. Take care. And then we dance, Bob.
I don't know about the